Ji-hyun, a young woman with eyes as dark as the city's secrets, lived alone. Her apartment, small and sparsely furnished, was her sanctuary. She worked nights, a writer for a small online magazine, her days spent in quiet solitude. The city, a bustling beast outside her window, was kept at bay by thin curtains and her own need for quiet. One evening, as the sky bled into hues of orange and purple, Ji-hyun returned home. She unlocked her door, the familiar scent of dust and old books greeting her. Something felt different, the air thicker, heavier. Dismissing it as fatigue, she moved further inside, placing her keys on the small table by the door. The shadows in her apartment seemed deeper, clinging to the corners. Ji-hyun shivered, a prickle of unease running down her spine. She glanced at the mirror, its ornate frame a stark contrast to the bare walls. Her reflection stared back, a ghost of a smile playing on her lips. The smile, she realized, wasn't hers. It was too wide, too knowing. Her breath hitched in her throat. She blinked and the reflection returned to normal, her own tired features staring back. Her heart pounded in her chest, a frantic rhythm against her ribs. It was just her imagination, she told herself. Just the stress, the long hours. She tried to ignore the feeling, the gnawing sense that something was wrong. She went about her usual routine, her movements mechanical. As she passed the mirror again, she couldn't help but glance at her reflection. This time there was no mistaking it. Her reflection moved independently, lifting a hand to touch the mirror's surface, a sly grin spreading across its face. Terror, cold and sharp, pierced through her. She stumbled back, tripping over the rug. Her reflection continued to move, its smile widening, becoming grotesque. It pressed its face against the glass, its features distorted, eyes burning with an unnatural light. "Who are you?" Ji-hyun whispered, her voice trembling. Her reflection didn't answer, its smile a chilling mockery of her own fear. It began to speak, its voice a raspy whisper that seemed to slither from the depths of the mirror. "You are mine now," it hissed, its breath misting the glass. Panic surged through Ji-hyun. She scrambled back, pushing herself against the wall, her eyes never leaving the horrifying visage in the mirror. Her reflection reached out, its hand breaking free from the confines of the glass. The fingers, long and skeletal, were tipped with claws that glinted in the dim light. Ji-hyun screamed, a desperate primal sound. She squeezed her eyes shut, shielding herself from the terrifying sight. Silence descended upon the room, heavy and absolute. Slowly, cautiously, she opened her eyes. The mirror was empty. Her reflection was gone. A sigh of relief escaped her lips. She was safe, or so she thought. As she turned to leave, her gaze fell upon the mirror once more. Her blood ran cold. Standing in the reflection, staring back at her with a chillingly familiar smile, was someone else. The someone else wore her face.